Secret bases on the moon designed to pump out genetically engineered intergalactic fighting machines.
Governments around the world racing to set up military installations in space, but why?
Too often we hear about extraterrestrials and spacecraft sightings from individuals who, one, have never actually been to space, and two, have questionable levels of believability. I suppose this makes it all the more exciting when claims of extraterrestrial apparitions are brought forth by more credible sources, like Leland Melvin, an astronaut working for NASA who has logged over 565 hours in space and who claims to have seen an organic alien-like creature floating outside of his spacecraft back in 2009. When he spotted it, Melvin immediately contacted NASA's ground control, who informed him that what he was seeing was nothing more than a piece of ice that had broken off of a Freon hose. But Melvin maintained his stance, saying that what he saw was something else, something translucent, curved, and organic looking. He even took to Twitter to share his story to UFO Sightings Daily. In a short tweet, he described what he had seen and even finished it off with an alien emoji just to be sure that we all understood what he meant by organic form from outer space. I'm not sure about you guys, but personally I'm inclined to believe the astronaut with over 565 hours in space who saw the thing head on over some guys working in ground control sitting some 400 miles away.
There's said to be a secret space fleet called Solar Warden that flies around space protecting Earth from intergalactic threats. Oh, how I want this to be real. This is what I imagined the future being when I was little. If I knew this was a career path, I would have been on it from the get-go. According to the theory, the United States operates a fleet of spacecraft that patrol and defend Earth's orbit. Solar Warden supposedly consists of 8 massive motherships, each the size of an aircraft carrier, and 43 smaller scout ships. These spacecraft are said to be advanced enough to travel throughout the solar system, not just around Earth. Solar Warden was created with the help of advanced alien technology, which the US government allegedly obtained through secret agreements with extraterrestrial beings. So the fleet's main mission is to monitor and protect Earth from potential threats, whether they come from other countries or outer space. It's said they operate out of highly classified military bases, possibly even in remote locations like Antarctica. But where did this rumor get started? Well, most of these supposed leaks are thanks to a Scottish hacker named Gary McKinnon, who'd been hacking into nearly 100 military and NASA computers between February of 2001 and March of 2002. He claimed to have found images of UFOs and information hinting at this top secret fleet. This isn't just some random dude who'd claimed to have hacked into these computers. This really did happen. He got in very deep trouble for this. In fact, it's often been referred to as the biggest military computer hack of all time.
Now, if you're gonna have a super secret space program, what better location is there than the moon? And what better name is there than Project Moon Shadow? Allegedly, and according to self-proclaimed space program insiders Randy Kramer, Corey Good, and Tony Rodriguez, Project Moon Shadow is a military abduction project that unfortunately obtains and trains its assets against their will. Not only that, but they create them against the will of their mothers as well. The whole thing is incredibly dark. Basically, according to Kramer, Good, and Rodriguez, for years the government has been genetically modifying embryos and inseminating unsuspecting women. When the inseminated women give birth, they stay with their sons or daughters for a couple years before the government steps in and sweeps the youngsters away to a top secret military base located on the moon so that they can be trained in extraterrestrial telepathic communications, strategy, agility, and strength. When the soldiers are all grown up, they are handed weapons and deployed to various bases across the outskirts of Earth's atmosphere, where they spend the next 20 years until their retirement, protecting our planet, ready to defend it by any means necessary at a mere moment's notice.
As if we couldn't get any more comic booky than Space Warden and what Hannah just talked about, the Dark Fleet. Let's talk about them. There's a theory about a secret fleet of advanced spacecraft operating in deep space. Separate from other known space programs, this organization is in direct opposition to Space Warden. They're said to be made up of remnants of the Third Reich, and not only do they operate in space, working alongside hostile alien species, mainly reptilians, they're also said to be behind some of the darkest top secret programs right here on Earth. Having infiltrated the United States government to carry out things like Operation Paperclip, this fleet allegedly has some of the most advanced technology far beyond what the public is aware of. The spacecraft are described as large, heavily armed, and capable of traveling vast distances across the galaxy. Some say the Dark Fleet is based on the dark side of the moon or in hidden bases scattered throughout the solar system. These bases are supposedly well guarded and completely off limits to anyone not directly involved with the program. This is all outlined in a book called The Dark Fleet by Len Kasten, so if it sounds interesting to you, then check it out.
In 2020, Haim Eshed, a former Israeli security chief who once headed the Space Doctorate of Israel's Defense Ministry, decided that enough was enough and revealed a major alien conspiracy theory to the world. He claimed that there was a secret intergalactic federation that communicated with some of the highest-ranking officials on Earth, including the President of the United States, so that both humans and extraterrestrials could better understand one another and also work together to better understand the secrets of the universe. Furthermore, Eshed stated that while as far as the public knows humans have yet to settle on Mars, there is actually already an underground secret bunker located on the Red Planet. Haim also stated that at one point former President Donald Trump sought to reveal the organization to the world, but he was advised against it by human members of the Federation who believed it would cause mass hysteria and uncertain times. A sentiment shared by the extraterrestrial members of the Federation as well, who, according to Eshed, claimed that humanity was not yet ready to accept the truth. Are you?
So many governments around the world are looking to establish a presence in space. Russia and China are rumored to have space military capabilities, and the US and France have launched their own space forces. In 2019, Donald Trump created the US Space Force as a new branch of the armed forces. The exact mission of Space Force is still a bit vague, but Trump said it's about protecting America's interests in space. Maybe it has something to do with what Hannah just mentioned, the rumors of alien life forms having direct communication with several high-ranking officials on Earth. Now, by 2030, France hopes to have weaponized satellites in orbit, even armed with high-powered lasers, according to French Defense Minister Florence Parly. Some experts are getting kind of worried about this though. Mark Gubrud, a physicist and professor at the University of North Carolina, thinks this could lead to a dangerous space arms race, warning that it could end in, quote, destabilization and nuclear war.
Remember Randy Kramer from one of my last points, the whistleblower who revealed Project Moonshadow to the world only to be called a nut job by scientists and non-believers alike? Well, according to him, soldiers trained at the secret base on the surface of the moon were not only sent out to bases on the outskirts of the atmosphere, but also bases on other planets, including Mars. Mars is where Kramer claims to have been forced to serve as part of the Mars Defense Force for a total of 17 years before he was reassigned to the moon for his remaining 3 years of service. Kramer described his time on Mars as rigorous and eye-opening. Soldiers living on the Red Planet resided inside of an enclosed Earth-like ecosystem called Ares Prime, which was completed with farmers, farms, engineers, and bureaucratic governments. After Kramer's 20 years of service came to an end, his memory was wiped. His age regressed back to the age he was when he entered into the program, and then he was sent back in time to the original date of his departure to join the Moonshadow project. So how could he possibly know any of this? Well, according to Kramer, as well as aforementioned Good and Rodriguez, along with various other sources, 2 to 5% of participants in the program are actually immune to this memory erasure, and these are the ones who go on to spill the secrets of intergalactic warfare happening right above our heads.
Is there an advanced organization that is broken off from established government bodies, which has access to classified science data? Well, author and historian Richard Dolan thinks so. In his book The Secret Space Program and Breakaway Civilization, Dolan discusses the possibility of an elite group of humans who have separated from mainstream society using advanced technologies and assistance from extraterrestrials to build colonies on other planets and moons. Again, very cool idea, but it also sounds like the setting for a Power Rangers series rather than something that actually exists in real life. But could this breakaway civilization be what Haim Eshed was referring to, having built an underground colony on Mars? I hope. It'd be cool.
With all this talk of intergalactic military bases and force compliance, I thought it might be fun for us to take a moment to talk about a secret NASA tried to keep about one of the most famous and well-known space flights to date, the Apollo 12 moon landing mission. Playboys in space. That's right, on the Apollo 12 mission, astronauts Alan Bean and Pete Conrad got quite the surprise when they opened up their logbooks to find pictures of naked women tucked neatly in between pages containing incredibly important important life or death mission tasks. Right away they knew that the pages had been placed there by their backup commander Dave Scott as a practical joke, but knowing that their every word was being recorded, they remained quiet so as to not piss off the taxpayers funding the mission, many of whom they assumed would not be amused by the astronauts taking part in practical jokes while attempting to flawlessly execute a multi-billion-dollar moon landing effort. They did, however, giggle a lot and often about the prank, which led many people on Earth to worry that Conrad and Bean might have been suffering from some kind of space madness. But nope, they were just teenage boys in love with naked women printed out on magazines.
Of all the alien species rumored to exist, seems the ones we have the closest ties with are the Greys. And if this is the first time you've heard about the Greys, probably also the first time you're watching this channel, so hello, welcome. The Greys are basically your classic, hairless, short little gray aliens with big black eyes. They even have their own emoji. Well, for decades or even longer, people have been reporting spotting these beings, and there are some who believe the United States government has direct contact with them, not just having recovered their technology and doing experiments on dead alien bodies, but actually having formed an alliance with them. Organizations like Majestic 12 and top secret facilities like Pine Gap and Area 51 are rumored to be involved. How do you feel about the government working with little gray alien dudes? All for it? Not so happy? Leave your thoughts down in the comments.
Well, that's a whole lot of space information for you today. We hope you enjoyed it.
And we'll catch you in the next one.